In this video, we're going to look at how to create our own Lambda expressions. So let's examine the syntax of Lambda expressions now so that we can start using them. A Lambda expression consists of mostly three parts. Parameters, which define inputs to the function, followed by an arrow operator, which appears to point to the function body, which can be a single expression or multiple statements. So its general format is like this, but there are variants to make the syntax less cluttered though, as we'll see. It's easier and more intuitive to see examples of Lambda expressions in order to understand the syntax and its variations, so let's look at some examples now. This is a Lambda which takes no parameters, i.e. has no inputs, and prints a message to the console. Since it takes no parameters, we have empty parentheses in the params block. That's the bit in front of the arrow operator, and always need to provide these even though the function takes no input. Also, since the function body is only a single statement, we don't need to supply surrounding curly braces. Compare that with this example. Here we have multiple statements in the function body, that's the bit after the arrow operator, and so we need them here. So whenever you have multiple statements and you're not just returning a value or doing something simple, say in a one-liner, you need to enclose the body of the Lambda in curly braces. It's just like with if-else blocks really. If we need more than one statement in the if or else, we need them there too, so nothing should feel that strange with this, hopefully. So far we've just seen simple lambdas, which don't take any arguments or return any values. Taking it up a notch, we can also pass inputs to lambda expressions too. Now this lambda expression takes two ints and multiplies them. It also returns a value, although this isn't explicit in the syntax. In general, it's accepted that a lambda may or may not return a value, and to specify this would have made the syntax more grueling to deal with. This probably does feel a bit strange, the fact that we don't specify a return type, but it's just the way it is. Don't worry though, you'll soon get used to it soon enough. You'll also see in this example that parameters are separated with commas in the parameters list. Regarding the input parameters, note that the types are actually optional and don't need to be specified if the compiler can infer the types based on the Lambda expression usage. So we could also omit the types of the input parameters like in this example. The two parameters a and b aren't prefixed with their types in this example. The types are always optional if the compiler can infer them based on how the Lambda expression is being used. The syntax is fairly straightforward and intuitive, as you can see. Of course, we haven't covered the situation where we have three parameters, two of them are strings and one is an integer and it returns a double, but you can probably work out how you might write this anyway. You either give the types or don't. You don't need to worry about the return type, and all you have to do then is to figure out if you need to put curly braces around it if it's a multi-line code block. So, Lambda expressions, nice, lightweight and easy to use. You can't use them on their own though. In fact, if you just copy-paste those expressions we've walked through into an IDE just as is and expect that to compile, it won't do just yet. And that's because they can't just exist on their own. They need to be either stored in a variable or passed to a method. And to see how to do this, we need to understand functional interfaces and target types, which we'll do in the next videos, so stay with us.